Hello and welcome to Stories, the True and the Fictional. We are a podcast that dives into the stories of people's lives, everyday people like you and me, or even famous people throughout history. We'll talk about TV shows, movies, books, anything where stories are involved. But it doesn't stop there. We want to get you, the listener, involved as well. So if you have a story, something funny or random that may have happened to you or a friend, send it to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. So until then, strap in, it's story time.
Greetings, weary traveler. What brings you out on this most treacherous of evenings? I see. A man who knows his business. I don't know what you're talking about. We do have some tales of the wolf, but you need to be more specific. What are you interested in? Are you interested in romance, pretense, action? Fated lovers, I see. Yes. And scenes of a somewhat sexual nature. Well, I do believe I have something just for you. This book, I will give a strong recommendation. But I digress. Please sit back and read Sparked Revolution, the Rising Dawn series. Who's it written by? Why, an up-and-coming British author by the name of Rebecca Cassells. She has written many novels that would stimulate the mind. You can find her on Amazon Kindle and through all good booksellers. Welcome to Stories, the True and the Fictional, brought to you by the Rising Dawn series, available now on all good devices, Kindle and through Amazon. My name is Chris, and I am joined by my two compatriots, my companions in crime. First of all, I'd like to once again introduce, back from his recent suspension from into the Phantom Zone, Ryan Zod Haig.
Thank you. You may rise from your knees.
Now, Ryan, do you feel your banishment was do you believe the Kryptonian courts had the right to banish you to the Phantom Zone?
They had no right.
That's what I thought.
Trying to save our people.
It is just like the left-leaning liberal Kryptonian government to banish those who are speaking the truth. The planet is about to explode and they're doing nothing.
Exactly right. And the punishment will be I will murder 7 billion people on Earth in the next 24 hours.
You know what? I'm just going to say it. It's controversial, but I'm just going to say it. If 7 billion people need to die so 6 Kryptonians can live, well, I mean, I'm just saying it. I'm putting it out there. Those numbers add up in my book.
And that's why you will be one of the lucky to survive, Chris. I really appreciate your support in my quest for world domination.
Of course, and here at the Stories of True and Fictional, we are a fair, just news outlet, and we have absolutely no bias. All hail Zod. Now, moving on to our next host. Recently back from his what I like to call the Dolphin Incident, banished Atlantean J.A. Bryden. How are you going, sir?
Very well, very well. Yes.
Now, have you learned that no means no in any language, including Dolphin?
No comment.
That's not what I.
No comment.
Really?
No comment. I'm sorry. I'm still learning the dolphin language, and is how they say what do you say? Yes.
I think you're just looking for a way to make their language say yes, aren't you, James?
Yeah, it sounds to me that the dolphins were correct. And look, I have to say, look, it was a harsh punishment, banishing a royal blood to the surface, like Arthur had to do. But again, he had to do it. I mean, he had absolutely no choice. As a member of the Justice League, you can't have one of his people accused of what you're accused of with those dolphins.
Hey, look, I was just trying to be a diplomat.
I just want to find out how you managed to get your
the science. We need to understand the science on it all.
You do understand that news outlets or wherever you're getting information from tend to exaggerate or misinterpret.
That's complete and utter slander, and for that,
slander. Yep, fake news. Fake news.
Fake news you can trust, mate.
Well, thank you for joining us, and I hope that this dolphin incident doesn't dissuade you from your future endeavors as what I'm reading here, the new director of SeaWorld. So I hope there's going to be no further incidences with your new 40 dolphin exhibition and exhibit. So I hope there's been no further incidents in that because of your, past history with dolphins.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Yeah. No comment.
Speechless.
Wow. That's the first time I've ever where Jamie's in there going, what the fuck am I meant to say to that?
I have too many ideas running through my head. That's a problem. There's too many angles.
Too many angles to take of the potential being me too'd by a dolphin. Yeah, I 100%.
I'm really. I bet you our sponsor is very, very happy.
I am sure our sponsor is most pleased with that. Speaking of our sponsor, yes, you've heard the intro. We have been sponsored by a wonderful author that's come along. Now, I was not there for the interview because, as Jamie put it, and multiple times, I don't partake in the interviews because I will definitely offend them and potentially prevent you from getting more interviews. So I get that. I do understand. I understand completely.
Yeah.
But I sat down with this book today, and I opened it up, the first one, Spark Revolution. And I don't think I put it down until we actually had to record this particular podcast. I found it quite engaging. It was very much sort of that she's tried to do basically that sort of thing where it's like going, the male aspect is important to a romance novel, rather than just being a male, you just sort of pitch, the male that just basically has his dimensions are limited. So basically in most of these sort of romance novels, you sort of get a very detailed description down to how many hairs on his nipples on the male character, but on the female, it's an androgynous blob that women can project their image onto, and also through the writing. But she's done a quite good job of basically fleshing out Holly, the female character, quite well. And I enjoyed the take in terms of how the wolves sort of speak into their head, and so essentially you said that very Jacqueline Hyde sort of mindset. Whilst I think vampires are the superior species in the werewolves versus vampires, if you're interested in a new book to read, I would absolutely recommend picking up the series, and I will continue reading the series, and I'll give you guys a bit of details as I get through the more saucy bits.
Now because you weren't there for the interview, we will let you know. She's told us to picture the lead man. I think it's Damien, is it?
Damien, yeah.
Damien. He is essentially Henry Cavill.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes a lot more sense of why when the main character, when he was going, well, Holly, we're fated to be together, she'll seem to be more like, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, because let's be honest, if Henry Cavill walked up to you and said, Jamie, we are fated to be together, your answer would be generally, all right, sure. I mean,
No, I can tell you, as a straight man, I would just go, yeah, carry me into that room, Henry. Take me as I am.
Carry him into that room and lay his quivering body down by the fire.
And even more so if he was wearing that uniform from an officer and a gentleman.
Oh,
Ooh.
And I will wear the nurse skirt or whatever she was wearing. I will wear it.
but I did have to say to Rebecca, it's not a reach for me to picture every male protagonist as Henry Cavill when I read them in a book or watch them.
And it's not, and you know, and I generally, as the to that logic, I generally, every female character to me is Kat Graham from, you know, Bonnie from Vampire Diaries. So again, you know, they would have cute babies. So I would have to say Henry Cavill and Kat Graham. That'd be some.
No, they would have perfect babies.
Would that child be too attractive?
Or would it be like the polar opposite, like when two attractive people clash, and then they get the grandparents' genes or whatever, you know.
No, I think that what happened is when the baby was born, the doctor would like deliver the baby, and then he'd start cackling with mad laughter and start clawing out his eyes and going, "I finally understand perfection. I get it. Then like the entire ward would kill themselves because they'd be like going, "Well, I've seen this child. What is there left to see in the world?" And so the child would be isolated, like by the government in an isolated cell. They'd train it into espionage and assassination, and the child would always wear a mask because no one can withstand the visage of the child.
So what you're saying is it's the ultimate distraction.
Penultimate weapon. Well, actually, no, the ultimate weapon.
We need to sneak into this government agency and steal all these important files. We could hack it, but no, we're going to walk in the door because we're going to release this child just across the street. And
we'll say she's a woman. You know, we'll say that it's a girl. We'll just walk and go, "Hello, can I please have your government secrets, please?" And they'd be, "Yep, sure. You know, like, here's the file. Here's the USB drive. Here's the dirty information. Do you need anything else? Okay, good. Well, good.
Well, yep. There's that option. So essentially, you're saying she's Lucifer. They've created the devil.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why you know, Kat Graham and Henry Cavill can never get together, because there would be an apocalyptic ending event that would doom mankind.
I seem to remember that from the Book of Revelations or something.
Absolutely. I believe it's very clearly stipulated in the Book of Revelations.
There shall be a man named Cavill and a woman named Grant.
No, well, it'll be a prophet. Prophet Cavill. No, well, hey, look, people are adding stuff to the Bible all the time these days, so why not? And it would fit. I reckon it would fit. The Book of Cavill.
The Book of Cavill.
I'll read it.
Speaking of shirtless fantasy, I watched the Game of Thrones recently, The House of Dragon.
Mm-hmm. Matt Smith, is it right?
Oh, apparently they're raving. I haven't watched it yet, but they're raving.
You know what? I'll just say this. I expected it to be shit.
Mm-hmm. Fully
came in going, this is going to suck. And I came out of going, that was not shit.
Apparently Matt Smith is really good.
Oh, no,
he's a great actor.
Immediately, his character to me is the good guy. I don't care what anyone else says. So take that as what you will on what that implies in terms of, you know me, you know what I like. He's the good guy.
I don't think I've seen him bad in anything. I mean, he was good, really great in Morbius, and like he's been, I'm looking forward to watching. I'll probably watch it tomorrow.
Yep, it's obviously it's set during the height of the Targaryen power. It's based on actually the Dance of the Dragon Civil War. So and it's really interesting how they've sort of done the dragons in it. You know, there's actually lots and lots and lots of dragons. Finally,
well, you would think so.
And so they have it sort of even says at the beginning they said they have 10 full-grown male like dragons. Plus, then like the roost, the nests and things, because this is them at their, this was the Targaryens at their absolute pinnacle of power. So excellent, very well done. Almost a little almost a little like How to Train Your Dragon kind of moments as well in it, which I quite liked. So
it's got you for another couple at least.
And if they kill his dragon, I will fucking I will burn the entire world down, because one scene with his dragon going, if that dragon dies, you're all fucking dead. I will fucking kill everything in the universe. Leave him alone. He is awesome.
And that being said, he will die because it's Game of Thrones.
Oh, it's Game of Thrones. I know. and what's even worse is that I know I read the story they're basing this off, so I already know what's going to happen. But shut up. Hopefully, they.
Hopefully, wait, is there such a thing as hope in the Game of Thrones world?
No, but that's not the point. He's awesome, and he's red, and he's fancy, and he's got the tail.
Well, Chris, stop right now, and he'll forever live.
That's true. Ryan, did you get a chance to check out Sandman yet?
Yeah, I watched a couple of episodes.
What do you make of it so far?
I like it. I really, really, really like it. I like. Speaking of Game of Thrones, I liked the what's his name? The Lannister father's in it as the guy who captures.
Oh, Charles Dance. Yes.
Yes, he captures Dream. And I've only got 2 episodes in, but apparently there's a new episode just got launched over the weekend or something.
Honestly, if you're 2 episodes in, you'll probably watch the best 2 episodes of the entire show.
Yeah. They have captured the true essence of the comics, especially the iconic scene when they do capture Dream and they just start taking his shit.
Yeah.
And how actually, then obviously you find out how important these things are. And yeah, I'm loving it. I definitely will be finishing it this week.
What's that Newfound Glory song? It's all downhill from here.
No, look, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot more. I was kind of hesitant. That's why I was putting off watching it, because I do love the comics so much. But so far so good. I'm not complaining at all.
Yep, excellent. Yeah, I'm in that mindset as well. But I mean, to me, they also released season 3 of He-Man. So
did they?
The animated series, the good. So there was 2 series of He-Man that came out. One, the Matt Smith one, which was terrible, and then the CGI one.
The Kevin Smith one?
Yeah, whatever. Don't care.
Not the Kevin Smith one.
Yeah. So they released a 3rd season of the one that's good, and so I've been enjoying back into that one. I watched She-Hulk.
Me too. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. The banter between, it was good to see Mark Ruffalo as much as you did. Marvel and Disney are not afraid to throw money at big name movie actors to play roles in the TV shows.
Yep. I agree. But I mean, I also think it's yeah. So look, it's one of those weird things. I really like the actress who plays. So Tatiana Maslany, I'm huge fan of. Mm-hmm. Would have preferred to see her as either something better than She-Hulk. I thought they could have done something better in terms of a role for her than this one. But
did you hear it was supposed to go to Alison Brie from Community?
See, that made more sense to me.
It was down to those 2.
Wow.
That's what I read today in doing a bit of research on it after watching.
Yeah, because I would have preferred that she was staying, either like the Invisible Woman, or if she was an X-Men or something along those lines. But something more prominent in the MCU than She-Hulk. But again, first episode was okay. There was funny moments. Definitely. We'll see how the show progresses, but
look, I think it wasn't award-winning by any guess, but it was entertaining. Look, it went for half an hour. I watched it first thing this morning when I got up, and it kept me interested, and it made me want to go, what, I'll check out the next episode.
Yep. Oh, no, I agree. Speaking of faithful retellings, there was the Tekken Bloodline series released, 6 episodes.
I haven't checked it yet.
Of absolute perfection of the storyline of Tekken 3. My one thing was they sort of downplayed Jun Kazama's death a little bit in terms of how it actually happened. But I mean, having Ogre holding up her head and rolling it down the stairs was probably a bit too much for But other than that, an excellent series.
Where can I see it?
Netflix.
Oh, it is on Netflix. Okay.
Netflix, 6 episodes, so you can get through it fairly quickly.
Definitely.
But it's done. But if you like Tekken, they've followed basically the Jin storyline pretty closely to what it was in the game.
Cool.
So if you remember from what happened in Tekken 3 at the end there, so it is essentially following that path. So
we'll have to check it out for sure. I did see you say it on the weekend. Initially I thought you said Taken. I'm like, why do I care about a new Taken series? And then I'm like, oh, you probably mean Tekken. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I'm looking forward to checking that out as well.
Good. So apart from that, Jamie, are you watching anything interesting?
I actually watched an old movie today called Thank You for Smoking.
Thank You for Not Smoking? Or
Thank You for Smoking with Aaron Eckhart. And Aaron Eckhart plays he basically defends a cigarette company.
Okay.
And he's got that Harvey Specter charm, and he can just talk his way in, like, they basically put him on a panel with all these health experts and a cancer kid. And basically that scene ends with the whole audience cheering for him.
Wow.
Like saying, oh, well, you know, our company's going to do do a $50 million campaign to $50 million campaign to encourage kids to not smoke, you know? And then like things like, if we, you know, why would we be for killing people? Like these people buy our products. Why would we want to see them die? Like that kind of very witty, you know, he can talk his way out of anything.
Okay.
But yeah, it had everyone. It had William H. Macy. It had what's the Dawson's Creek girl?
Katie Holmes.
J. Jonah Jameson dude.
Oh yeah. What's his name? Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, him. No, it's old. Like, it just came to my mind because I watched it like 20 years ago when it came out, and I just
really
put it back on. It's a fun watch.
Okay.
It's also got the kid from Last Stand, X-Men.
Which kid? There's a lot of kids.
The kid, the one that's hiding in X-Men Last Stand. They're using him.
Oh, Leech. The one that takes the powers away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That guy. Yeah, it's not bad. But I've also been watching a shitload of Last Man Standing.
An absolutely sensational and
I love
amazing
that show.
Series. One of the best.
100%. I wish I was you, Jamie, because I'm sure Chris will probably tell. I actually watched it week to week, so I had to wait a week for the episode to come out, download it, and then watch it. I envy you because you get to watch the whole thing, start to finish, as much as you want. Yeah, great show.
Oh,
Fantastic
it is fantastic, and I want Tim Allen, or should I say, Mike Baxter, to do a show with Ron Swanson. Like, those two need to meet. They need to meet.
That would be one hell of a meeting.
Oh yeah.
My only complaint about that show is it's over.
Well, 9 seasons is still pretty good.
Yeah, but I know.
But still, they're like, they could have done more.
Have you got to the part yet, Jamie, where they've just simply switched out the older daughter and pretended no one's going to notice?
Yeah, because that's early on. Like,
yeah,
I'm only
season 3 or something.
I'm halfway through season 2.
Yeah, season 2. They
not only did they swap the daughter, they swapped the daughter's the father of the kid. But their stuff is so funny.
Yeah.
Like, I flip and love Mike Baxter being a complete smart because his daughter's boyfriend's like a big, greenie.
Yep.
He's just making all these dead animal jokes.
It's no, look, one of my favorite shows. I'll still watch it. I've actually started my rewatch at the same time. Jamie mentioned he was going to watch it, so I've actually started my rewatch as well. And
because I think it's all on Disney Plus, isn't it?
It's all 9 seasons are on Disney Plus. Watching the last episode of season 9 actually left me hollow, because even as they're writing it, and even as they're delivering the final episode, you could tell that they were a little bit upset that it was being cancelled as well. So or ending. So they but still 194 episodes. It's very, very, very.
At least we have it. We have it. It wasn't like it wasn't on Netflix or had the Netflix curse where we only get 2 seasons or 1. Well, there's 9 beautiful seasons there for us to watch over and over again.
Yep, absolutely. 100% agree. Speaking of beautiful seasons, we are on to, once again, our greatest comedies of all time. We went through the round of 16 on the left side of the bracket, and now we are now going down the right side of the bracket, as we've dubbed the bracket of death.
Yeah.
Now, to refresh the rules as we all going through, each series was chosen from a number of factors: ratings, popularity, impact on pop culture, and obviously the
launching of
careers was also a key factor. It is a majority votes amongst the three of us. Every one of us has what I like to call the Jamie Bryden veto, which essentially is you must stop the vote and then go,
mine.
I like it, and that's all that matters to me. In my opinion, I don't care. Nope, I know what I like. I like what I like, as I like to call the Jamie Bryan opinion. And then
let me stop you right there, Chris. I think we've discovered. I mean, if that's how I sound to you, that's why I don't get second dates. I want to have my steak. I don't care if you're pescatarian.
No, Jamie, you don't get second dates because of you do the face, the smile, the half smile, the nod,
the annoyed face.
Yeah, well, if you can talk to Jamie about anything, and if he doesn't agree with it, it just happens, and he can't stop. Like he just basically does this nodding thing. Like
I've described it as it looks like he's trying to hold a fart in.
Yes,
not sure. He's like.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly it.
And then you raise the eyebrow and just hear.
So what I think we need to do, Ryan, is we need to get Jamie in the room. We need to say things he hates, and then basically prevent him from doing it. Because obviously on these dates, when she says something she disagrees with, he does the face, and she goes, "Well, fuck you," and then doesn't get it. Yeah. So good plan, Ryan. I like it. All right, let us continue.
I'm just trying to deflect because I don't want to do this bracket.
It's a tough bracket, but we've got to do it.
And none of us used our vetoes last week, did we?
No, we still each have the veto, because I do believe that some of us were saving the veto for this side of the bracket. All right. First of all, the number 2 seed, MASH, a series that went longer than the war that it was portraying. A series about the mobile hospitals that had humor, but also brought a serious note to the futility of war. They were patching them out to send them out there again to come back and patch them out. But it had brevity. It had laughs in it. It had some iconic characters, iconic soundtrack, and basically, you could just say it's iconic because essentially everyone remembers MASH, and everyone remembers, some of the characters within inside of it. Hawkeye specifically, obviously, hugely popular. Even growing up, I sort of watched it more so on the sort of afternoon television watching, but I still absolutely turned up to watch it every single time. It was an absolutely fantastic series, and that's why it holds a coveted number 2 seed, going up against Modern Family, a series about an unconventional family. You had the patriarch married to his new bride and his stepson, the Dunphys, and then Cam and Mitch. 11 seasons, I believe it was. So 12 seasons. 11 seasons.
23 episodes per season, too.
23 episodes per season. It didn't launch Sophie Vergara's career, but it damn sure brought her front and center to everyone's eye vision. I think it was. I think it was the first TV academy that they went to. When she wore the dress she wore, I think all of the commentators were like, "Dad," when they were trying to interview her. When they were I was going, "Yeah, no, that makes complete logical sense." But great characters, hugely hilarious. Claire Dunphy, I mean, come on, classic. And Ty Burrell as Phil Dunphy, one of the greatest and most hilarious characters. But obviously, funny show, but it also had real moments of sadness, joy. You went through you've been watching 11 seasons. You felt like you were sort of living with this family.
Oh, definitely
going through their trials and tribulations. Spoiler: when Phil's dad died, I think that episode just shook the crap out of me. I think that was just rocked me to that. Just absolutely,
yeah. and it was Fred Willard who would play so many iconic fathers, who passed away in real life not long after that. Yeah, man, that just. And not many people know also first gay kiss in prime time.
Oh, there you go.
Mitch and Cam got married. So
yep, and obviously, Mitch and Cam, classic couple. You know what? I could go on and on, but I think it's time for vote. Look, my vote is abundantly clear. Look, as much as I can respect MASH for being what it is, I have to go with Modern Family because one, it has launched careers 100%. You can't say it hasn't. It's revitalized careers. As we said, Married with Children onto this one, sort of gave his career that second act. And Ty Burrell was sort of that floating around as that skit guy and was on a few shows, did a few funny bits in some series, but he hadn't really shone in his own right until this series, obviously, 11 seasons of of that. So that's my vote. Jamie, what say you, sir?
Yeah, Circus gonna have to disagree, man. MASH all the way. Because just growing up with it, hearing that theme song at, I believe it was 5 o'clock or 5:30 every day, getting home from school. It makes me smile when I think of it. In Modern Family, I haven't watched enough to now. I probably will go once I've. Don't shake your head at me, young Ryan Hug. I'm watching Last Man Standing at the moment. I will get to Modern Family. I've watched a significant amount of Modern Family, but it didn't hold me enough.
Well, clearly you haven't because you're making the wrong decision.
No, well, look, the fact is it doesn't matter because you're clearly going to vote the other way, and I'm just going to stick to my guns.
All right. Fair. Jamie's sticking to his guns. Ryan, what say you?
Modern Family. I've recently just watched all 11 seasons about a couple of months ago. It's exactly what you said. You live with the family, you laugh with them, you cry with them. It's just, I don't have words for it. It's just such a great show, and I'm really glad that I waited until it was like I'd watched it quite regularly and then took a break. I'm glad I waited and rewatched it from start to finish because it felt like a really good journey. So yeah, Modern Family all the way.
Fantastic. Locked in for the win. Moving on, we have Spin City, the fantastic comedy. Michael J. Fox, and then obviously being replaced by Charlie Sheen, living the life of the press surrounding the mayor of New York, who some would call an idiot, but I would call just the right kind of puppet for the deputy mayor, which is Charlie Sheen, and then obviously Michael J. Fox's character. A swath of actors that you sort of will see and go, oh, that guy, oh, that guy, oh, that guy. Hands down, to me, I think one of the funniest moments I think in that show was the mayor of New York. He was at a bar. He was, they'll try and teach him how to approach a woman at a bar, and they go, oh, you need a reason to go up to the bar, and talk to her, not make it so obvious. So he goes outside to a payphone, calls it. Then the bartender holds the phone, goes, I got a call for the mayor of New York. And he goes, yep, that's me. Walks up to the bar, sits down, and there you go. Then turns to the girl, hi, I'm the mayor of New York. It was just, I was going, oh, that is gold. Sad, obviously, with Michael J. Fox departing the series, but I think, really actually, and the joke's been made by other comedians, that sort of paved the way for Charlie Sheen as a success, that he had to replace him, did a good job. Continued on, fantastic show. Again, still one of my favorites. It is up against a story about a girl who was working in Flushing, Queens, until her boyfriend kicked her out on one of those crushing scenes. Where was she to go? What was she to do? She was out on her fanny. I'm obviously talking about The Nanny.
Named Fran.
Fran Dresser, an amazing series about a father, multiple children. It's definitely got that. It's the what's the word I'm looking for? It's the different it's fish out of water scenario where she's she's from Queen.
It's like the Prince and the Pauper story.
Exactly, and and he's this
she's insanely annoying. Mr. Sheffield.
He's this upstart, and he's this stuck-up British man lusting after this woman. Where she got the budget for her outfits, no one would know. But honestly, I remember watching that multiple times, and I still really, really enjoyed that series. That show made her, and because of that show, that sort of spawned off her career. But obviously, the scene stealers and the show stealers, Niles the Butler being one of the greatest characters of all time, and his ongoing war with CC Babcock, the thing of absolute legends. And it's actually one of those shows where they have laughter, but they actually did have a studio audience. It was one of those like weird ones where it's like, is that canned? No, they're physically like there. You could like, they're actually physically on. You can see them, and you can see that because if they have a studio audience, the sets are quite limited because they're sort of like moving things around a lot.
Yeah.
But still, today, still one of my favorite shows. So let's get the voting on these two icons off. Jamie Bryden, what say you?
So it is tough because I absolutely love Niles. I love Niles, and from the nanny, and I love the whole Babcock and the Pomeranian. There's a lot of charm in that show. However, Spin City, if we're talking careers, it launched one of my favorite TV show creators, one of my favorite writers. Bill Lawrence used to write for Spin City. And he brought a lot of people from Spin City into Scrubs.
That's true.
Which is the greatest sitcom of all time, just regardless of how this little thing goes. Just putting it there, it is. So I'm gonna have to go Spin City. There's just too many wonderful people from it. Richard Kind. I just love him to death ever since he was in the original Stargate.
He's the man with the unusually large mouth, isn't it?
Yeah. Laverne in Scrubs is a hypochondriac. In Man Seeking Woman, he's God. Spin City all the way.
Ryan, what say you?
Well, yeah, I agree with Jamie. This is really difficult because I could not care less about either of these two shows. I never got into Spin City. I agree that Niles was the only saving grace of the nanny. I could not stand her voice. I used to, being a deaf person and being able to hear those kind of decibels is not great.
Even when you take your ear things out?
Mate, it was just as loud. I'll tell you that. Look, I'm only going Spin City because I'm a massive Michael J. Fox fan. He's a fantastic actor, whether it's movies, TV shows, you name it. From all reports, a really nice guy that unfortunately had a terrible disease put upon him. That's literally, and I didn't know about the Bill Lawrence thing, so that kind of sways me a little bit. So I'm going to say Spin City, but only because I hate Fran Drescher.
Fair enough. Well, Spin City has it.
Oh yeah.
I just haven't watched enough of Spin City. I'd like to, and I know it's on the stand at the moment, so I may go back and watch it, but I've heard nothing but good things, but I just never got around to watching it.
Definitely worth checking out. I'd 100% say so. Moving on. Where do you want to go? Where everyone knows your name. Cheers. Well, the story about the bartender, the bar, the comical characters.
If you're talking launching series, this is.
I know. I mean, Fraser Crane.
Woody Harrelson, like so many.
Oh my god!
When the weight of the world has got you down,
look,
and your life.
Hugely popular series. There's not, that's essentially all we all know. Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson, in my opinion, is one of my top 5 favorite actors in the world. So, and any show that gives you that, and then Fraser Crane. I mean,
We'll get to that later, mate.
Kelsey Grammer, Kelsey Grammer, seriously. Yeah.
playing a small part in that to be, to launch. We are up against the contestant from across the pond, Faulty Towers. John Cleese's series that didn't make him famous, but it sure damn cemented it. A classic series about a terrible, terrible hotel and the man who was in charge of said terrible, terrible hotel.
Yeah.
Classic British comedy, classic setups, classic bits, classic scenes. Manuel, obviously, his helper that he just outright abuses on a daily basis.
You couldn't do Faulty Towers nowadays, I tell you. It'd be cancelled in 2 episodes with Manuel's.
I'll say this: when I was doing acting, we did a scene we did a Faulty Towers thing, and the person that was playing Manuel was like going to really sell, you need to sort of really hit me in the back of the head as he did it. And I was like going, I'm not going to do that because like that's just mean. She was like, no, look, you got to sell it. It has to look real. And so for several hours, I would hit this woman in the back of the head to make it look like, because that's what that was. And the audience believed it, but it was terrible. I was like going, yeah, you couldn't do this now.
Yeah.
But having said that, I still laugh at that show. So, like,
it is brilliant.
The best episode was when the German guest came and he just couldn't stop.
Don't mention the war.
And he just couldn't stop mentioning the war. And then the greatest lines are going, well, you started it. You invaded Poland. And then it's so wrong good. Classic.
Yeah.
John Cleese at his finest.
I watched like a clip the other day. It was so funny. The moose head.
Oh, the moose head one. Yep.
And it's just so simple that, this old guy walks in
from a book.
Yeah, this old guy walks in and Manuel's behind the counter and goes, hello. And the guy's looking at this moose head going, what the?
I learned English from a book.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Ryan, what say you?
Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers, because we got Fraser Crane. Simply, plain and simple.
Yeah.
That was my ultimate classification as a nerd in high school, because I watched Frasier. Because it was too highbrow for some of the people that went to Doonside Technology High School.
I would think so.
That's a little bit above their head. But no, look, honestly, that show, it's just pure nostalgia. I remember watching it with the family, 5 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon or 5:30 on a Saturday afternoon, just before the news would be on. It'd be Cheers in the afternoon. And for the factor that we got, an actor like Woody Harrelson, we got Kelsey Grammer at his finest, and we got the show Frasier out of it, it wins hands down.
Now, look, I want to go Faulty Towers, but I can't because of the rules that I had written down.
Faulty Towers is an amazing show. My dad loves it, and John Cleese is a genius. It's another one.
Cheers launched careers.
It did.
Just before you answer, Chris, just know that John Cleese is probably holding the book that you and I wrote in his hands right now.
As he strokes it for firewood. No, I'm joking.
I don't care. Because even if he does grab it and throw it in the fire, I go, John Cleese held my book and threw it in the fire. Opposed to some random joke.
No. He used it to keep himself warm.
Yes.
As stroked the movies.
Yes.
But I don't think he'd be listening to this podcast. So.
No, God, no.
No, look. Sorry, I gotta go. Cheers, Jamie.
Yeah. No, look, I'm the same. I gotta go Cheers, but I feel really bad because Faulty Towers was the thing growing up.
Yep.
It was, yeah.
It was the thing, but Cheers is, Ted Danson,
It doesn't mean that we don't like Faulty Towers any less.
It just means that Chris is a dick for putting this in the same bracket.
Yeah, well, what was the we had last week?
No.
You know what I mean?
Hey, the bracket is I rank them, and then this is the seeding. This is how tournaments work.
All right.
All right. Next up, the man, the icon, his show, The Chappelle Show. The Chappelle Show has given us arguably some of the greatest skits alive.
I'm just going to sprinkle some crack on it.
Yeah.
Sprinkle some crack.
in terms of his characters, I mean, they even did. I think it was a Saturday Night Live sketch where it was all his characters being like killed by Negan from Walking Dead, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen because the racist Klan member.
Oh, that was my favorite.
And goes, but he goes, yeah, it's like, but you're black. He puts on the MAGA hat and goes, well, this hat says otherwise. And
because he was blind.
Yep, the blind
Klansman.
The blind Klansman.
He was like a grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. And then he's like, I'm finally going to reveal my true identity to y'all. And because he honestly thought he was white. And then he took it off, and all of them are just like, and then you just hear shotguns cocking. Yeah. And he would say, what, is there a N-word around here? I still crack up that.
One of my favorite things, most this goes over most Australian people's head because they don't get the draft, but they did the racial draft where they're basically drafting people of ambiguous race to basically to each one essentially, and it was well done. It was a skit well written and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Look, there's so many iconic characters that he's created in that series that's great. Up against How I Met Your Mother. 10 seasons, can't remember.
9, I think.
9, on Ted, and he is what amounts to hundreds of women he dated, telling that all to his children in exquisite detail that all the women he banged until he finally met the mother. Now, iconic characters, Lillian Marshall, who can't forget that? Barney Stinson.
Oh, yeah.
Legendary character. And obviously, the guy who played Ted was okay. He wasn't terrible. So
that was actually supposed to be Scott Foley.
Oh.
I just Robin Sparkles, man. Come on.
Oh, I mean, how can I forget Colby Smulders? How can I forget Robin Sparkles? Let's go to the mall
today.
Oh my goodness! Again, there were so many great serious things. The Bro Code. Again, I have a copy of the Bro Code. Barney Stinson influenced my life in many ways. I think that I work as a quote unquote office man in a high powered position.
We ask Chris what he does, he's just like, please.
Exactly. So definitely influenced me in that regard. So let us now cast down to a vote. J.A. Bryan, what say you?
How I Met Your Mother. It just has to. Chris was the one that forced me to watch it, and then by giving me the box set of the first 6 seasons, I go, fine, I'll watch it. And then I was like, okay, I like it. Look, it's one of those things that the this is a common thread for me in most sitcoms is the leading role I don't tend to love as much as the supporting cast.
Yeah.
Like there are
exceptions.
I think it's more that often the leading role gets shined, like the supporting actors are stronger actors and just sort of like destroy him.
Yeah. I mean, I even like early on, like he drove me insane, but I still loved him. Bryan Cranston's role.
Yes.
He was great.
Yes.
Travers.
As his boss.
Travers, yep.
Yeah.
That's a penis. We're not building a penis.
Yeah.
You wanted Hammond Druthers? This is Hammond Druthers.
Yeah. There's just
well,
so
hats
much...
off to your lady friends.
And
what about Wayne Brady? You got to go Wayne Brady, Barney.
Oh.
He was like every episode. I used to love watching him on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah. Oh, he's great. Joe Mangalo. Joe Mangalo. Yeah. He's like, we're just two bros having brunch. Look, there's just too many iconic, things that stayed with you. All the memes that came out. Marshall and his pie charts.
Yeah.
Oh,
pie charts. The slap game.
Yeah, slap bet.
Look,
and things have just carried on.
I wish it ended better. It's not without its faults. I'll say that.
But I think we all agree that the alternative ending that they did not air
was perfect.
Was the better ending.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
You couldn't have written a better ending.
Nope.
Yeah.
And that's the example of executives chickening out, going,
They
should
want
we trust?
this.
Should we trust the writer, or should we trust our own executive wanking pool? Well,
yeah. No, but that's me. How about your mother?
Can I just say about the ending they aired? Sorry. I mean,
go.
That whole thing was like where the girl's like going, "Oh, it's okay. You love Robin. Like, oh, you should totally not go with her." She wouldn't say that.
Nope.
She'd be there going, "Oh, so this entire time you've been married to our mother, you loved another woman. Is that what we're trying to say? Is that so? This whole time it meant nothing. It meant nothing to our mother, did it?
Yeah.
That would shatter their relationship. The children would never speak to him again. And Riley, fucking so, would you sit down and go, "Hey, the woman I met your mother, she was my silver medal. Here's the gold medal." Come on. Sorry, it was unbelievable. It was stupid.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And it ruined a perfectly good series. To this day, I can't go back and watch it because I'm going, this ending is there and I know it's there, so I can't watch the show. So
it's like the Pina Colada song. Like that scenario would not happen.
No.
It's about, a husband and wife in bed, they're bored of each other or they don't love each other, and then they write an ad in the paper saying, "Hey, if you want to meet, let's hook up." And then they both go to a diner and they go, "Oh, you read the ad. Oh, we're in love." And you go, no, that would not happen.
Nope.
Chairs would be flying.
Well, Ryan, I'm assuming you're going to go How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, look, 100% for every reason that Jamie said, and for one more. I have never had a show affect me and bring me to tears as much as when Marshall's dad died.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting a bit choked up talking about it now. Just Lily saying to him, and he's like, I'm not ready for this yet. And I've no matter how many times I watch it, it still brings me to tears. And for a TV show to be able to do that, and also all of the other amazing things about that show, it's got there's no competition. You could put it with any show. My favorite show of all time is The Sopranos, and I've just finished my 100th watch through, I reckon, in the last couple of days. And if you put that up against How I Met Your Mother, How I Met Your Mother would still win for that reason only.
Wow.
Fair enough. All right. Strong arguments. I will go Chappelle just as a protest vote on the ending, but it's a meaningless gesture, as I know. On to the next bracket.
No! Sorry.
Do you know the Fonz?
Yes.
Hey.
This is.
Do you know the classic? Do you know a classic song about "These days are ours, yours and mine"? These happy days. In terms of launching careers, we are now enjoying the works of the works of the Howard family through
Bryce
Dallas Howard, as well as her father's work in the director field, and her work, an amazing episode she directed in The Mandalorian, sensational director. Chip off the old block, that absolutely fantastic. We also launched shows from that one. There's been multiple spin-offs from Happy Days. We mentioned Mork and Mindy.
Even Henry Winkler, like he's a comic icon. You know what I mean? He got so much. He wasn't just the Fonz. He got so much more work, and his career took off after that.
Yep. It is a show that is almost like a pinnacle of our society in terms of the people it's given us, the joy it's given us, up against Scrubs. 11 seasons. A man named Jay going...
9 seasons.
Isn't it 11?
No.
9 was med school, wasn't it?
9 was med school.
Sorry. 8 seasons.
Yes.
8 seasons of the story of JD going through his medical training. The jokes are real. The feelings are true. Giving us one of the greatest characters of all time, Dr. Cox, my personal hero and one of my favorite characters, giving us memorable episodes, like the episode when he killed 4 people, or three people.
Yeah.
And that whole arc of storyline of basically watching a doctor finally quit, finally all the teachings he's given them about, not giving up, wash it off, but just watching, as a man who had been in the medical profession that long, still cared so much about the patients that he served, watching his rise to chief of medicine. There's watching one of the perfect endings of season 8 with the classic song, The Book of Love. You can't say more about this show, but what I just did. Great guest stars, great appearances. Michael J. Fox made fantastic episodes with him. But, geez, this is a tough battle. So, you know what, Jamie?
We know what Jamie's going to say.
I'm going to let you cast the first vote, buddy.
Oh, well, see, here's the thing. We talk about launching careers. Because the thing is, if we didn't have Happy Days, Henry Winkler wouldn't have created MacGyver. And then MacGyver wouldn't have gone on to Stargate. This is what you're doing to me, Chris. I could veto this shit, but then I know Scrubs won't probably make the next round because it'll be even tougher. So I'm just going to declare Scrubs the greatest sitcom of all time, move on and say Happy Days. It has to. Like,
it has to.
It guts me.
It guts you, doesn't it?
It really does, because Scrubs was my, pick me up. Scrubs was my,
wow,
binge watch an entire series in like 3 days.
Wow.
while working 12-hour shifts. Like it was my friend.
And why are you doing it why are you doing this to it then?
Because he's thinking with his head.
Because I'm thinking logically.
Think with your heart, Jamie.
Okay. All right, no,
See, that's where you and I differ. I will pick a show based purely and simply on a moment.
All right.
That affected me.
All right, Jamie, do you want to veto this?
Well, what are you boys going to say?
You don't have to veto it. I'm telling you right now.
Okay, Scrubs.
Have to veto it.
Scrubs. I have to. If I'm going with my heart, it's Scrubs.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan?
Yeah, I'm going Scrubs because again of 2 moments. Of the moment that you mentioned with Dr. Cox was heartbreaking, and for a TV show to be able to again do that to me and make me feel like this is real life and this is what's going on. And Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Plainly and simply I love that man. And not in a weird sexual way, but in
he's your friend.
Yeah. And seeing him in that and then just getting my heart completely and utterly shattered in a million different pieces when you realize what that episode was. Scrubs all the way, and it's Bill Lawrence, and it's not just that, and it's JD and Turk, and I have Jamie to thank for introducing me to this amazing sitcom, because it makes you laugh 1 minute, it makes you cry the next, it makes you feel more than you've ever felt, and even like the janitor, the small significant characters, but like the background characters, as you told me, Jamie, the extras are all the same pretty much all the way through. Kelso. Sometimes he was that much of a prick, it made me laugh. But Dr. Cox, I agree with you, Chris, he's my favorite character in that whole show. And to see that one episode very early on in season 1, where I just wanted to give him a hug and tell him that everything's going to be all right and that tomorrow's another day. And I am a very emotional person, so that's where my choices are coming from. Happy Days is a great show, and I do have fond memories, but I can't be like you, Chris. I can't say this launched this many careers. I'm just going to tell you what shows mean the most to me, and that's why. So Scrubs is blows Happy Days out of the water, in my opinion.
Well. It looks like we have an upset alert.
Uh-oh.
With a favorite, Happy Days, going down to a wild card of Scrubs. Unconventional, to say the least. Well, let us move on after that shocking upset.
That's why we have all 3 of us on this show, because we all think differently.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why, even though we know what Happy Days has done, and Ron Howard is one of my favorite director, producer, writer, whatever you want to call him, but Scrubs got me in the feels.
All right. There it is. The next one needs no introduction. The next one made 5 or 6 actors so rich they didn't have to work again for the rest of their lives if they never wanted to. Some actors chose that path. Some actors tried to continue on careers. Some actors were in and out of drug rehab, but great to see them bounce back from all that. One actor tried to launch a spin-off series that was tremendously failure, but it was essentially, that was expected. His character really had the lack of depth of all the characters, so I'm not sure why they thought that was the one to spin off. I'm, of course, talking about coffee drinking, the 90s, and Central Park. I'm, of course, talking Friends. An ensemble cast of great characters. Let us forget how Monica could afford that apartment in New York.
It was rent controlled.
Rent control.
It was rent control from her grandmother. That was the explanation.
Ross, Rachel, Chandler, one of the classic, and that Chandler almost made that show to what it is today in terms of things. Monica, Rachel, Phoebe. A group of strangers who occasionally brought people into the group to date, and then let them go once they dump them. But there was, again, much like everything else, there was some classic lines, some classic scenes. All I need to say to you guys is simply, we were on a break, and you all know what I'm talking, and you all know what I'm talking about.
I'm looking for my lobster.
Yeah.
That show, there's just so many great moments of it. So many guest stars came in and out of that show.
Paul Rudd,
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt had a few episodes, and that was
because that was when he was with Jennifer Aniston at the time. So.
Jeff Goldblum,
he was awesome. Hank Azaria was in it.
Julia Roberts.
Yep.
Elle Macpherson, one of our own.
Oh, yes.
And Joey's advances wouldn't work on her.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Now let us talk about, it is up against Parks and Recreation. 8 seasons or 6, I can't remember how many seasons
it was. 7, to be honest.
7, yep. A story about Pawnee and the local government responsible for parks and recreation. It gave birth to one of the greatest characters of all time, Ron Swanson, and all of the Ron Swanson-ness that has happened throughout that series. There were some other great, memorable characters, but essentially from that show, you're basically watching it from Ron's scene to Ron's scene. But in terms of careers, let us not forget about a young man who became Star-Lord.
One of the 6 sacred Chris's.
One of the holy Chris's in the Chris. Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Must be protected at all costs.
You're right. This show gave birth to one of the Chris's, of Chris Pratt. A man who was also written up by NBC for going naked on set and was given a final warning for doing so.
And he's got that framed on his wall.
It also gave us Audrey Plaza, who, she has one note, but it's fantastic. Dry sarcasm. Yeah. It's fantastic. Love her. Love to death. Great characters. Overall, fantastic show. I thought the ending was fantastic. Perfect way to wrap it up. This is one of those shows where Leslie Knope, while she was meant to be the main character, she was basically not the most important character in that show. She was, everyone else outshone her completely on that show. Let us get down to the tough decision on voting. Ryan, what say you?
It has to be Friends. I grew up on it. Again, it's a purely emotional choice. I mean, you got to look at it. Did launch a lot of careers. You got Jennifer Aniston, you got Courtney Cox, you got David Schwimmer, who does more producing than acting. It also spawned one of my and it's not the Matt LeBlanc show you're thinking of. It spawned a show of his. I don't know if you guys are familiar with, called Episodes.
Oh yes, I remember.
Which is a fantastic, where he plays, Matt LeBlanc plays himself, and there's 2 British writers that as it always happens, the British write a TV show, the American buy the rights, and then just rip the shit out of it and make
yes, that was funny.
Another fantastic show from HBO. But look, I grew up on Friends. I've watched it a million times. Parks and Recs again is a great show, and Ron Swanson is one of my heroes. But I have to say, it's got to be Friends. It launched multiple careers. It stood the test of time. It ended perfectly for me. Friends all the way.
Jamie,
I'm gonna need a minute. But no, because I've recently watched all of Friends. While I felt it had a slow start, Chandler was he's one of the most, like, I love that guy to death, and I steal his humor.
Yep.
I think my humor tends to be a combination between Dr. Cox from Scrubs and Chandler. That's what I aim for.
Mm-hmm.
But it did annoy me with all the clip episodes. Like every season there was.
Yes, they did. But that was the thing. You got to think that was how a lot of sitcoms did do that.
Yeah.
Back when it came out.
Yeah.
But they're easily skippable.
Yeah. It's tough. It is tough because Star-Lord, Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt, get me in a room. I will turn.
Exactly. He's one of the Chris's. He's one of the 4 Chris's of the apocalypse.
Yeah. Chris Pratt, Ron Swanson. It also has the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Ah, yes.
He's like the guy that always.
I haven't watched it all, but Aziz Ansari, he was really good. He was in Park.
Yep. Yeah.
Comedian.
Yeah, and he had an arranged marriage with a real hot girl. But look, I think as much as I love Friends, I'm gonna have to go Parks and Rec.
That's fair enough.
I mean,
I'm going off watching Friends when it came out, and I guess that's why I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
I haven't rewatched it recently, but it was the go-to every week. So
yeah.
I think maybe if I watched it again now, it might be different.
Yeah.
But I'm going off watching it when it came out.
Yeah.
Well. It looks like someone has the final vote, and it is me.
Sorry, Chris, we're losing your connection. I can't make out what you're saying, Chris. I believe you said Friends. Yes.
You may not vote against one of the 4 sacred Chris's in Hollywood.
They're both fantastic shows. They're both fantastic.
Oh no, they are. Yeah.
I'm not disappointed if Friends loses. You know what I mean?
I mean, Friends did have that very annoying
Janice.
My God.
She was a main character. I couldn't have watched it because
she's another nanny.
The Fran Drescher thing.
Yeah. But I think she's supposed to be annoying.
Yeah. She was in it enough for me not to be too annoyed.
Yeah.
That is true. She was in it enough to piss the living shit out of me. All right, moving on. Now that we have upheld the law of the sacred Chris's, we are moving on to the next fight. Fraser, Kelsey Grammer, his brother Niles, one into the psychology for the money, the fame of his television show. The other, the more workadaisical Niles, running his practice, living with their father, and the shenanigans that they get up to. A spin-off show that became somewhat, you could argue, just as popular, or if not more popular than the show it spun up from, the Thinking Man's Comedy, as many would argue. Completely memorable, hilarious, and obviously, it's one of those shows that you could watch and you still it's an easy watchable show. You can sort of rewatch it. I've done it a few times. I've watched multiple episodes. I liked it. Ryan, obviously you obviously feel the same about that one, so I think that's a fairly straightforward for us in terms of gravitas on that on one of the great TV series of our time. Going up against this one, we have the Golden Girls, with a total of 180 episodes, an ensemble cast with. But let's forget all the other actors. The one that matters, Betty White.
Betty White.
Oh yeah, everyone loves Betty White.
The show about 4 retirees living their best lives in Miami. Great ensemble cast. So look, the other actors, whilst they're not Betty White, they do shine on this show. It's been a while since I've watched this show. So when I was looking up the ratings and statistics on shows, this one kept coming up, and I was like going, "Are you sure?" And then I was looking at the viewership in terms of ratings, and I was like going, "Holy cow!"
Let me guess, it was like 95% Florida.
It was like, you look at it, like if you had these kind of ratings today in modern television, you'd almost feel like it wasn't real.
Yeah.
With seasons average, with the seasons averaging the huge numbers it was doing, it was insane. Great series. I haven't watched enough to sort of really get sort of around to it, but just by looking at when I put the list together, looking at my pure statistics, it absolutely deserved to be as a top seed on this show. So let us now go down to the crucial votes. Ryan,
Frasier.
Obviously.
Just because I haven't watched enough Golden Girls, because that was even before my time.
Yep, it's an old show. Granted.
Yeah. But Frasier just gave me too many laughs and too many, I don't know. It just felt like it was a comedy at the time that I understood. And you know what I mean? Like everyone used to, you don't know who watched Frasier. It's just like an adult show. Not really, if you understand the humor of things. So yeah, 100%. Kelsey Grammer was fantastic. David Hyde Pierce, fantastic. The father and I forget what the English girl's name was off the top of my head, but
oh yes, and that whole desire. Will they?
Had that really? She was like from the Cockney part of England, while Kelsey Grammer and David Hyde Pierce had like the very well spoken. She'd be like, "Hey, another cup of coffee, governor," kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, Frasier all the way.
Jamie?
Well, Chris, I don't know what to do with those tossed salad and scrambled eggs, but I'm going to say Frasier. Yeah, look, I love Golden Girls. Like, it was always on the TV when I was growing up. Reruns. Little thing is called rerun. What's a rerun? But yeah, Frasier. I have a thing for people that sing their own theme song. I think that's why I like Texas Ranger so much as well, because Chuck Norris sang the theme song. But Frasier all the way.
Okay. I think that's pretty clear, and a pretty clear thing. Frasier is moving on. Now,
the easy one.
Listen, now let me tell you about how our life got turned upside down. We are obviously talking about the birth of Will Smith with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Pre-slap
Will Smith. Carlton. Butler.
Yeah. Jeffrey. Uncle Phil.
Okay, the voice of Shredder.
Mm-hmm. The two Aunt Vivians, one for seasons 1 to 2, and the other for seasons 3 to 5.
Yep.
Because Will Smith and her did not get along at all, the first Aunt Viv.
Yep, the subtle change.
Yeah. And they even made fun of it. They even broke the fourth wall in season 3, and they're like, "Are you sure you're Aunt Viv?" So like she makes some comment, and they just look at the camera. I thought that was quite good.
Now, going up against that, the classic Bewitched. The story of a mortal man marrying a magical wife with the iconic wiggle nose. It was so popular that they tried to reboot it with Nicole Kidman and Will Ferrell, and he did his darndest. And you know what? I like that show.
Bewitched.
I have to say one that it's as weird ones where you sort of you don't remember much, but you'll remember just the nose wheel. You remember the whole family situations where and then obviously they did that whole send up of a lot of the scenarios in, say, like in WandaVision with the boss coming home from the boss, having the boss over for dinner and the magical shenanigans. So basically WandaVision owes a lot to this show because they essentially actually just basically made Bewitched. Now let us hear the votes. Ryan, what say you?
Well, look, I don't want to get too religious, but I honestly think Samantha would have been burnt at the stake if she was actually a real witch. So I'm going to go Fresh Prince of Philip. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air has to be the winner. I grew up on it. I based my school life around it. And I honestly, again, moments, the improvised moment when, Will finds out about his dad, and he just has that moment with Uncle Phil, where he's like, he's all being all tough, and then he's just like, why didn't he want me? And Fresh Prince, it spawned careers. Will Smith, regardless of what you think of him now, gave us some amazing movies throughout his time. Fresh Prince all the way. I could still rewatch it today. There were so many things, like how blatantly Carlton wasn't aware of racism until and there was an episode I remember where Will and Carlton were driving and they got pulled over by a white policeman, and Will's trying to say to Carlton, look, just sit here, hands on the wheel, let me do the talking. Carlton's like, don't be silly, and they end up getting taken to jail, and then Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv come, and you get to see like how defensive Phil gets for the kids once they're like, we're not going to, they clearly stole this person's car and all that kind of thing. And, there's so many amazing moments in that show that it has to win.
All right, Jamie?
I second that.
Well, I think it's all very clear. Well, I like Bewitched, and I like what I like. So I'm gonna. My opinion matters more than anyone else. I, Christopher Warner, hereby evoke my Jamie Bryden veto to put Bewitched through to the next round.
No second date for you, young lady.
Now, you might think that that's an insane use of a veto.
Wow.
But let me justify my choice.
If you listeners could see the frown on Ryan's face right now.
You can see the anger, the frown on Ryan.
I'll use my veto to veto your veto.
Is that possible though?
Now let's no, it is not.
Because Chris makes the rules.
And it's a bit of a cheat veto, but as Ryan says, I should think with my emotions more than my logic, statistics, and reasonings. The 2005 Bewitched film was the first date I took my wife.
Oh.
I sat through a stupid movie with Nicole Kidman and Will Ferrell and grit and bared my teeth. And hence it has, I guess you could almost argue, fond memories.
Wasn't that also the time that you put your foot down and said she's never allowed to pick the movies again?
Yes, it was. spawning that. It is a very selfish use of the veto, I'm aware, but guess what? We all get one, and I've decided that I will use my veto here.
Wow. I think you just do that purely to have a good way to end the episode. You did it for the ratings, Chris.
All right. Now that the round of 16 is done, let us look at the quarterfinals from the right side. We will have Modern Family up against Spin City. Cheers versus How I Met Your Mother. Scrubs versus Parks and Recreation. And Frasier versus Bewitched.
Frasier versus the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I will never forgive you for this. This is my Elon Musk great tragedy moment where
this is your supervillain moment.
I have magnetic powers. My X gene's getting activated as we speak at a delayed age of 40.
Well, while you say that, Ryan, just remember that I backed you up. I supported you. Please don't kill me.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
Well.
Okay. All right.
Remember, I've now used my veto. You still each have your veto. And next week, we will finalize both brackets and declare a winner. We have quarterfinal matches, semifinal matches, then finals to go through. We all know the contestants. This should be a fairly easy thing to get through. Each of you currently still hold your veto to declare who could potentially be crowned the greatest comedy of all time. Ryan will need time to get over the anger and the seething rage he's currently feeling right now. But that's why, we are a democratic society, and that's why we have the veto, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ryan? Hey, Ryan? Ryan?
Oh, he's closing his laptop.
Hey, Ryan? Did I use a little video? Did I video a little vote? Video a little show about the rapper? The rapper who became somebody famous. Became famous with Men in Black and then Wild Wild West. Even though Wild Wild West didn't do as well as Men in Black, even though he still did the same sort of song in the theme song. Is it one of those ones that you're going to be angry now because of preference there? Is it Ryan?
Wow.
That was a really good story.
Yeah, it was actually.
I love Stewie Griffin.
Stewie Griffin.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Wow.
Now, we've all had our laughs. We've all had some fun. If you agree with my amazing decision or disagree with my amazing decision, you can please write to us at our email address, which is Jamie.
thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com, or alternatively, you could send us a message on Instagram, which our handle is at @stories_podcast. You can find us there.
Creating 100 new email addresses to email and say that Chris is wrong.
You know what? I'm a man of honor. If we get 100 emails saying that I'm wrong, I will. That are not created by Ryan.
Oh,
I will recant my veto.
But you got to make it quick.
See, the thing is that what I don't get is I know that is a crock of shit. And that you do not believe that Bewitched is better than Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's my issue. That you're doing this for the dramatics.
Oh no! I have fond memories of Bewitched.
Yes, fondling memories. Every man is as
a popcorn with a popcorn with a hole in the bottle kind of memories, or
as a wise man once told me, everyone is entitled to their opinion, no matter how wrong they are.
Remember, as you said, Ryan, earlier in the episode, we should vote with our emotions, and so
that's how I vote with my emotions.
You sway Jamie's logical statistics-based thinking to vote with his emotions.
Mm-hmm. And you voted with your emotion. You voted with hatred and deceit.
This podcast needs a villain.
That's hatred and deceit are more powerful than you realize, Ryan. Have I told you the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise? He too took his wife to see Bewitched at the cinema. They soon learned the power of anger, of hate, of rage. A power that could even surpass Ryan's joy for his show.
But to be honest with you, I know your great anger because I once went on a first date. A first date, she picked the movie and we went and saw What to Expect When You're Expecting. So I too know great anger. I blame. She made me the man I am today. Like other men.
The last movie I went to see on a date was Hancock, and there was no hand or cock.
So. We need to end it on that.
With that outstanding play for the buzzer, walk-off home run.
Oh, that's Joey's best call of the year. Seriously. Wow. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. So as you know, we have a sponsor at the moment, Rebecca Cassells. If you want to jump on as a sponsor, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com/STTATF. I'll put the link in the show notes. And there's like a sponsor package there that you can pay a certain amount of money per month, and we will plug the crap out of your book, movie, product. Yeah.
Because if you think we are done talking about wolf incest, well, you've got another thing coming. Stay tuned for next week. She has provided an interesting extract to read. I didn't want to read it this episode because I need to understand more of the context, but now I've read the context. I know exactly what to do with this delicious extract, so stay tuned for that. And as we say every single time we leave, adieu.